Hi everyone, this is Chris, and just want to talk real briefly about some interesting information that might have revealed a little bit of key points that happened today and last week as well. And I really think what's really happened is since it's been hunting season and the activity has moved around and shifted. I think what's happened is they've just basically just pulled back in deeper into the swamp. And after what's happened today and last week, I think really what has happened is a pattern has emerged. And this will help us with new information and be able to maybe get some, yield some more things and more activity so we don't have to waste our time in looking. So what I'll do is I'll just run this down real fast, just a Google Earth snapshot, and just briefly go over some points that I'll point out. And so before we start, I want to give everyone a scale, okay, because I have the ruler brought up right here. So I'll just give you an idea of the scale that we're talking in this grid square right here. Okay, so I have it set to yards. And so we're going to click it right there and bring it all the way across, give you an idea of how big this is. Okay, so roughly that's 241 yards. So when you consider the whole area, you roughly safely can assume that this whole area you're looking at is 250 yards across. Okay, so let's go ahead and clear that and let's talk a little bit about what happened. Okay, what happened last week on the Bigfoot paradigm is you see these two blue dots right here, and those are the indications of the footsteps that I heard. And last week, my sister and I were standing there, and we had heard what's pretty much sounded like bipedal footsteps, as in two individuals, and they were moving. Okay, and so let me just go over some things right here and give you some background. Okay, normally when we come into this location, okay, we come from this area over here, and then we start making our way in this general direction. All right, so we basically come meandering over here, squiggling through the palmettos, and then basically what we do is we basically stop right here in this area. Okay. Now what happened last week was we got here and so we stopped and we were just listening real quietly. Mark had went down here a little ways. My sister and I stayed here, and that's when we heard the bipedal footsteps over here in this side. What I had heard, what I distinctly remember was what sounded like bipedal footsteps, and they sounded like they were equally spaced, maybe about 15 yards apart, and they were moving in a flanking position, in a flanking direction from our location right here. Basically like a little bit of a block, because this is really dense in here, and normally you can really only go in this general direction or this general direction down here. But what we had heard was these footsteps had basically came, they moved parallel to our position, like I said, and then they stopped. We didn't hear it no more. But I was pretty certain from what I heard, it didn't sound like a hog or anything like that. And that was happened last week in the Bigfoot paradigm video, and you can review it if you want. Now, what happened today when we went out? We pretty much took the same way in. We came up here, same way in, crossed over all the way over here, hit this area right here. Okay, and we stopped in right here just briefly. We basically went up here into this area and just listened. Okay, we just basically listened. I didn't really hear anything going on, so we waited it out. We stayed there maybe 5 minutes or so. Nothing. I heard absolutely nothing. Nothing I can call that was anything. So I said, okay, let's go ahead and just let's wrap this up a little bit. So we pulled on down, and as we started heading back down a little bit of a path, no sooner than when we got right about here as when we heard movement right on our flank again. Probably I would say no more than maybe 30 yards from our position right here on the trail. What I heard was it sounded like movement, okay, and I thought maybe it was just a big hog, but what the movement sounded like, it was coming directly to us, okay, and then a little bit of a change occurred, and then it pulled this direction. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking that happened today. The movement and the steps come directly to us, change, and then it flanks us again. I think it was a hog. And I'm going to release the video, of course, but I thought it was a hog initially. We made some whoop sounds, some tried to elicit some responses, and I don't think it was a hog anymore because we had basically on the playback. I didn't hear it when we were out there. My wife had coughed, and I had, I was talking because I was like, okay, whatever is out there is still out there, but I don't hear any more movement. So and that's when we started, was getting ready to go. But as I was saying those words in the video, you can hear a whoop uh, go off in the background. It sounds just like what my whoops were doing, almost like a mimic. So it's very interesting, and what I will point out is that this basically forms a pattern. Okay, um, it's interesting to point out because of the flanking movements in this general direction. Okay, and the flanking movements going in this general direction right here. For some reason, something doesn't want us to go back in this general area or to push in deeper this general area or possibly this general area right here. And I think what really might be going on is probably what we have found is what's going on is basically this could possibly be an observation point where a sentry, where a sentry could be located in this area. This was last week, and then today, right here as well, something was over here in this area. Okay, what's probably going on is that they don't want us to go in this general direction. Okay, because possibly that could be where more could be located, or the rest of the unit could be located back in this general direction. All back up here in this direction. All back up in here in this direction. It just gets deeper and deep. It gets deeper and deeper, more and deeper into the swamp, and it becomes more like no man's land. And it's a fortress effect back there, meaning you can really only go in from one general direction, which is the directions that I'm laying out right here. So I'll clear everything out right here and go back right here again. So what I'll probably end up doing is I'll talk it over. We had planned on doing a night op potentially coming up this next time we go out. And what we'll probably end up doing is we'll probably either come from this direction in to the spot, or we'll come up from this direction into the location, and we're going to see what we can elicit from this general area again. Okay? Don't know for sure what I'll do just yet. If we hear the pattern again, if the pattern emerges again in this general direction, what we might do is we might try to push in just a little bit more deeper, okay? This general direction right here, and then this general direction right here. And let's just see possibly what we might get. It could be very interesting. Don't know. We have to really play it by ear. And like I've always said in the past, it's always a wild card out there. Things are predictable, but then again, things are not predictable at times. Okay? So that's going to be a little bit of the strategy that we might be thinking about doing this upcoming week. And I hope everybody enjoyed the video. And until the next video, and I'll release what happened today, of course, and then you can see that as well. But until the next video that comes out, I hope everyone has a good time, and we'll see you. All right, bye-bye.